Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Senna updated complete guide. So of course, if you guys are seeing Senna, you guys know I got autofill to support, so I'm of course going on my Senna, which is pretty much my best support champion. But before we really get into it, of course, as usual, don't forget to check out Senna's basic guide I put up in the cards above right now for his skills, the order tips and tricks, as well as a couple of combos. But without further ado, I'm gonna go straight into the build. Now, the thing about Senna's build is it's kind of complicated because essentially it is kind of flexible, and basically what I mean by that is, firstly, your support item, you can go for Ancient Coin, Relic Shield, or Spectral Sickle. Now personally, I don't like Spectral Sickle because I think that the stats it gives you are not good. You don't want offensive stats, you want health. So the other one, the Relic Shield, you will have to proc it on minions, which will then cause you to not get stacks. So I actually like to go for Ancient Coin because it gives me health, ability haste, and it pretty much requires me to do nothing, basically. So then, boots. You generally always want to go for defensive boots. Generally is going to be plated steel caps. Now this is just for extra tankiness, so that you don't just instantly get one shot, being a very squishy champion yourself. And then the rest of your 4 items are relatively flexible. You can see that amongst the top players, there are kind of a mishmash of items for them as well. But I'm just going to go through the items and what they do. So generally, your first item is going to be Serpent Spank. I say generally because in most games, there are going to be a lot of shielding. So what do I mean by a lot of shielding? Set, Shen, Seraphine, Lux, Lulu, Karma, champions like these, and summoner spells like Barrier and enchantments like Locket are very common in the game. So in most games, there's going to be a decent amount of shielding. So long as the shielding passes a certain threshold, generally it's going to be worth it to go for Serpent Spank, even if there's like small shields only. Right? Let's say you have a Yasuo top, he's passive as a shield. You have a Yone in the mid lane, his passive has a very small shield as well. Things like that can accumulate to become a lot of a bigger, a lot of shielding in the enemy team in total, right? So then generally you're gonna go into like some armor items. So the main armor item you go for is generally Iceborne Gauntlet because it gives you health and armor for tankiness. Mana is great for Senna because she uses a lot of mana. Ability haste is great as well, so you can spam your spells, and then you also get a little bit of bonus damage from the passive as well as that slow zone for utility. So just all around general good item. Frozen Heart is really good in the current meta as well because you have a lot of auto attack based champions. So going for this makes you again more tanky, more ability haste, and of course it will reduce their attack speed. I definitely don't go for this every game, but in the game you'll see later on I did go for it because there was a lot of attack speed champions. And then Mole Reminder in some games is also going to be good. You mainly get this for Grievous Wounds, to apply Grievous Wounds to people. You don't really get it so much for the armor penetration or the stats. It's really just for Grievous Wounds, and this is pretty much your best Grievous Wounds option. I mean, you're not going to go for Morello, you're not going to go for Kempunk Chainsword, so this is pretty much your best option. So other than that, you do have your AP, or not AP, MR options. You of course have Mob, which gives you MR and AD, and you also have Spirit Visage, which makes you even more tanky. It gives you health, ability haste, and healing, so this one's really good as well. Then you have Black Cleaver. Now, Black Cleaver makes you tanky by giving you health. You get ability haste and AD as well. And this is really only good if you're with a lot of physical damage champions. So if you're with like a full or almost full AD team, this item can be really good because you can shred the armor of enemy champions, and this can help you out. Help them out a lot. And the last one is your offensive option, which is Runans. Now Runans of course allows you to attack 3 people at the same time and proc your passive on 3 people at the same time. So this is really more so if you're going for a more aggressive approach. So for the runes, I know the popular rune to go is Glacial, but I personally like Fleet Footwork. Now I like Fleet Footwork for mainly 2 reasons. Number 1, your laning phase gets a lot better because you get sustain and you get movement speed, so it makes your laning phase a lot more easier to play. And secondly, in late game fights, the movement speed you get allows you to kind of reposition around the fights as needed, which with Senna can be a little bit difficult because you're kind of are locked in your auto attack animation a lot. So with the Fleet Footwork, you can kind of reposition a lot more easily and get off a auto Q auto combo a lot more smoothly. So of course Glacial is your other option as well, gives you the slow as well as that slow zone and damage reduction when you proc it. So that can work out very well as well. You generally go for defensive, supportive kind of runes. Font of Life, just for heal on yourself and your ally, just bone plating for safety. I like to go for Revitalize for the increased healing and shielding on my allies, but you can see the top players do like to take Perseverance and Overgrowth as well. Now all of them like to take Hex Slash, but I don't really feel Hex Slash is very useful personally, so I like to actually take Brutal to give myself some late game damage. And then for the summon spell, of course, as a support, you generally want to go for heal. But, if you need like an exhaust or something like that, you can go for that as well. But with all that said, let's move on to talking about our gameplay. Okay, so now let's take a look at our Senna gameplay. Of course, before we really get into it, as usual, don't forget to drop a like, comment, as well as subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and of course, I will be sure to address them. So as you guys can see from the title of the video, we actually reached 200 soul stacks on Senna. So as you guys can see already from the length of the video, this is a really, really long gameplay with, multiple barons and elders and things like that. We do have a lot of time to kind of talk through what we're doing, why we're building certain items, and what, is just going on, right? So, early in the lane, generally as Senna, you do want to play kind of a little bit aggressive. However, it kind of depends on the lane matchup you're going against. Senna is really good against tank supports like Leona, Nautilus, and such because she can bully them pretty well. Of course, they can engage on her as well, but generally you do like to face tanks because you can bully them quite a bit. And in lane, the main goal that you want to do is you want to walk up, auto Q someone or auto someone to steal the soul stack from them, and that will of course let you stack up your soul, and also at the same time poke them and heal yourself, right? So that's kind of what I was aiming to do. I was trying to queue through the soul there to hit the Morgana, was not successful. Here I get the double auto on Ezreal. And you can see that we are trading back and forth a lot with Morgana plopping her W's down as well as Ezreal launching those Qs, which is why I think fleet footwork is very, very good for lane, right? The movement speed and the healing you get is just very useful. We get another soul from Morgana here, and this is basically going to be our laning pattern. So long as we're not like really far behind or anything like that, we should be all good. So you can see we get hit by the binding, but we're basically fine. We get the soul on Ezreal, heal ourselves, and yeah, this is just going to be the laning pattern the whole time. Of course, plopping down a ward to ensure that we're not ganked from out of nowhere without knowing. And so now let's talk about like some items. So first up, let's talk about support item, right? So support item, I've kind of been through it a little bit. So Spectral Sickle is a good option for Senna because you can proc it very easily. You can see that if I had gone for that, I would be procking it non-stop because I am autoing and queuing them a lot. But why I don't like Spectral Sickle is that it gives you AD, and while AD does seem good, the support item AD is really low, doesn't really scale, very well. And also, of course, with the Spectral Sickle, you will kind of be forced to walk up and auto, and in certain matchups that is not really what you want to do. You want to kind of play a little bit more defensive, so I don't really like Spectral Sickle. Now, Relic Shield is actually pretty decent. You do get a heal from the Relic Shield, and you also can control the minion wave with the Relic Shield as we go on a rotation to mid to kind of help our team out and eliminate the Yasuo from the map. So Relic Shield is a pretty decent option and gives you health as well. So I have gone for Relic Shield in certain matchups where I do need to control the wave and such. But of course, the drawback of Relic Shield is simply the fact that by autoing minions, you don't really get souls, or rather you have lower chance of getting souls, and that's kind of a detriment. So the default best option for me is going to be Ancient Coin. So Ancient Coin basically, of course, gives you all the support item benefits. It gives you health and ability haste, which is two stats that you do love. And of course, you don't really have as much drawback. Of course, maybe the drawback is that your ADC has to farm minions, but it should be the case most of the time that they're doing that anyway, like what you see here. So the drawback is not really that huge. So next up, in this game, of course, we are going to go for Serpent's Fang, and you can see Mordekaiser coming in for a gang here, ults the Samira. So here I'm on standby waiting for Samira to come out. Out she comes right now. I'm gonna instantly ult to give her the shield, ensure she doesn't die to Mordekaiser. I believe that shield did save her life there. She may have died if I didn't actually hit the shield, so I think that is probably a lifesaver right there. So of course, as I said, in this game we're gonna go for Serpent's Fang. I mean, it's really a no-brainer, right? Because in this game you have like Mordekaiser, who is like a huge shielding champion. I mean, if I see Mordekaiser alone and no other shields, I would go for Serpent's Fang anyway because Mordekaiser's shields are just insane. But other than Mordekaiser's shield, you have Yasuo passive, which is also a shield. You have Ezreal, who has taken Barrier, which is also a shield. And you have Morgana's Black Shield, which is also a shield. And yes, you do reduce the Black Shield, even though it's not like a traditional white shield, right? It's like the purple color shield, but you do actually reduce that shield as well, because it is, after all, a shield. And lastly, Darius is I'm not gonna say he is gonna build gargoyles, but it is likely he's gonna build gargoyles. I mean, Darius generally goes between gargoyles, righteous glory, and protobelt, so it is possible he builds gargoyles. So even more value for us if he does so. So Serpent's Fang definitely is gonna be a first item option for us in this particular match. Now in this match, you have 3 AD champions, Yasuo, Ezreal, as well as Darius, and 2 AP champs. Of course, that is Mordekaiser and Morgana. So kind of depending on how the match goes, it will of course affect what we exactly kind of go for in the match. So here I was initially trying to roam to the Herald, because Herald is the better objective, but my Rammus is now in my lane. So here I'm actually coming back to my lane to kind of help them out. Nothing really much happens. I get a free auto onto Morgana, and it doesn't really work out. But I'll kind of talk about the items more so when we get them, or when there's time. Here I'm trying to kind of just chunking Morgana out, shoving her off of the dragon, making sure she does not come anywhere near the dragon. Ezreal is coming though, so I'm just gonna root him up and just get a little bit of free damage onto him. I mean, my Samira and Rammus are not in position to really follow up from my CC, so I knew I was not gonna kill him or anything like that, but I was going to, of course, try to at least put in some damage. So here Mordekaiser does take the Herald in exchange for the Dragon. And that's a little bit of an awkward situation because the enemy support is going back to the bot lane, but my team is kind of making a play on the opposite side of the map. And also there's mid lane, but I don't want to steal farm. So here I'm going to ult the Mordekaiser. It does do damage, but not really that much. And however, I will get the assist though. So that is, yeah, that's fine. So here I'm just waiting for souls, collect souls, and I'm going to go back. I need to rush to my Samira side because she obviously is in a 1v2 and she will get bullied if I don't come back. So surprisingly, I actually have more gold than my Samira, at least at the current moment. I guess from the 2 assists that I got, which is kind of funny because normally you shouldn't really have your support have more gold than your ADC. But yeah, just a minor amount. So here I'm here to help the Samira. Samira gets rooted. I'm trading back onto Morgana. And she's going in all the way, going in with the barrier and everything. Here, she nearly dies, but does barely survive. Nice double kill by the Samira. And here we're going to pick up the souls. In comes Mordekaiser. We don't quite have Serpent's Fang yet. We get pulled in and we get ulted. Gwen is kind of nearby. I'm hoping that she helps me here. I'm flashing over the wall to just buy time. And I do come back out of the ult. I hit him with the root and he runs. I run away, sorry, and Gwen is now left dealing with the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser has gargoyles as well, so even more anti-shield value when we complete Serpent's Fang. Now here we're just trying to finish the kill. I do get the snipe through the minions eventually and pick up the kill. Gwen does pay for it with her life though. I'm gonna ult the Ezreal for damage as well as giving my Samira the shield. Samira gets the kill on Ezreal, gets the reset, but has to kind of run away. Eventually I get the kill onto the Senna, but actually I could have given the kill to Samira. I kind of thought that I didn't want to make my ADC walk back into tower to get the kill, but she did that anyway, so I could have given her the kill right there. Thankfully though, Samira now has more gold than me, and also thankfully I have my Serpent's Fang complete. You can see how useful Serpent's Fang would have been in those fights where Mordekaiser was kind of shielding like crazy. And yeah, and we take over level 9, which gives us a rank 2 ultimate as well. And here I'm coming in with the stealth. I'm pretty sure Samira can finish off Ezreal if I manage to hit my CC, which I do not. We're going for it anyway. Samira's going in. We're both autoing him, and down he goes. Samira goes on a rampage. And yeah, getting some deep wards in the enemy jungle. Hopping over as someone actually hits the Squire's Bloom and spots me out. So now I'm thinking of what to go for my next item, right? And I'm thinking at the current state of the game, of course Mordekaiser is behind. We have Morgana who's behind as well. Yasuo is also behind. So the most ahead champion is going to be Darius. And also there's 3 AD champions compared to 2 AP champions. I'm going to go for some armor item. And of course the best default armor item to go for is going to be Iceborne Gauntlet for all the good stats as well as the passive as well. So that's going to be my default option. So I'm going to start building toward the Iceborne Gauntlet as I just mentioned. And then after that, we will kind of check and see the situation again. That's why Senna itemization at this current stage is a little bit complicated in a sense that you do kind of have to adapt. So here Darius unfortunately gets the kill onto Rammus, gets the reset, and the bleed ends up killing me, which is kind of unfortunate. I was trying to help my Rammus out to kill Darius, but I ended up getting myself killed instead, which is kind of tragic. If you really think about it, Herald gets summoned only after 9 minutes into the game. Pretty poor by Mordekaiser. He does have the ulti down. but it does time out. So now he's getting 2v1 by Samira as well as the Gwen, and Samira easily finishes him off with a well-placed ultimate. Unfortunately though, Darius is now there to hook Samira and kill her. I'm making my way to the fight, but I find myself in a 1v1 against Darius. However, Rammus is coming and we're going to 2v1 him instead. The Super Fan removes all of his shield. We slowly auto-attack him down and he does end up dying eventually. The Herald is still coming, or rather the little Herald minions, I guess, are still kind of coming. But we're just going to easily just get rid of them and slowly make our way over to the dragon, which has already spawned, or rather just spawned I should say. Ulti for the shielding and a little bit of damage. Darius is becoming a problem again. He has the full stack passive, kills Rammus, and the same thing is happening again. This time I use Summer Heal and my Q to save my own life, so this time I don't end up actually falling, which is great. And this time we are able to survive and help out our team. So here in comes Yasuo. We somehow managed to get the kill on him, despite the fact he dashed away. Ezreal now in a little bit of a spot of bother, but does go into a fight there, but doesn't actually get anything done. Only the bot lane's left alive. Samira soloing the dragon at this point. We're just here to help out a little bit. We also get the souls from the dragon itself. Samira, I'm not sure why she flashed over the wall there. Yeah, just dies to Ezreal. Yeah, that was really questionable. And yeah, so you can see that overall we are just playing a support, right? Like nowadays it's way better to play Senna as an actual support than a fake support. And by fake support I mean you build items like you know, like lethality items or like carry items, right? It's way better to play Senna as a real support than like a fake carry, right? So here Mordekaiser ults me, but I survive long enough to get him to tower, root him under the tower, and Yone basically just comes and KS's my kill. But you know, it's fine because as a support you should let other teammates get the kills anyway, so that's alright. But yeah, so you can see that Mordekaiser has ulted me like I think 2 to 3 times and he's never really managed to kill me. Yeah, mostly because he always ults me when I have flash, so I'm always able to kind of flash away from him. And in this case I didn't even need to use my flash, I simply just ran to the tower. And Mordekaiser just not having a very good time in this match. He's 0 and 7, so he's definitely not having a good time. Darius is the only one on their team who is actually doing pretty well. Ezreal is doing decent. I guess, yeah, Ezreal does have more gold than majority of my team. Only Yone and Samira have more gold than him. So he's doing pretty decent. Darius, of course, is doing very well. Here we are getting the root onto the Darius. Darius, however, is now going onto Rammus, has the full stacks, transfer it to me. I have to flash the wall to ensure he doesn't catch up. I end up outplaying him here, and I say outplay because I knew he was going to ult me, of course, because I had full stacks, and I'm a relatively squishy champion. As I get pulled back in, I'm trying my best to run away. My heal and was just enough, and the Samira blocks the Ezreal Q, and I survive. Sidestep the Ezreal ult. I say I'll play him there because I knew he was gonna ult as long at the moment he was in range. So there I was kind of spamming my mist, which is this ability, which if you guys didn't know, point and click abilities such as, for example, Darius's ult, Twisted Fate stun card, things like that you don't have to aim but you have to point and click at a champion, you can't use on Senna or her teammates when they're in the mist. So by going to the mist, I made sure he couldn't actually ult me, and he actually ended up ulting my teammate instead, who had 0 stacks. So that ended up basically messing him up, which of course is the intended goal of what I was trying to do there. So yeah, so here I am able to now complete the Frozen Gauntlet, or Iceborne Gauntlet, I guess you should say. And that's of course going to help me out against Darius and his other AD compatriots. So now I have to decide what item am I going for next. Am I going for magic damage, magic resist items, or armor items? So now I'm thinking that Mordekaiser basically can't kill me anyway. Morgana, she can't really kill me anyway either. Haven't really had a problem with her this whole match. So I'm thinking probably another armor item is the best way to go. So here I'm actually going to be going for the Frozen Heart. Because why Frozen Heart? Because Ezreal and Yasuo are both auto attackers, and yes, Ezreal is a spellcaster, but he is also an auto attacker. A lot of his damage comes from auto attacks, so I'm gonna use the Frozen Heart to reduce the damage, reduce the attack speed of both Ezreal as well as Yasuo, and then what we can also do is reduce the attack speed of other champions like Darius and Mordekaiser, who are not really auto attackers, but they still do have auto attacks as part of their combos. So we can of course eliminate him as well. Speaking of eliminate, we just killed both Darius and Mordekaiser, and now Ezreal that gets taken down by my team with my help. And we're 5-1-12. Pretty good scoreline on the Senna. We've been very useful picking up some kills as well as a large number of assists throughout the game. So you can see that in my team, basically Samira and Yone are incredibly fed. I'm kind of supporting them. And of course we have a tank engage, which is basically Rammus, and Gwen is basically just feeding. Be that as it may, of course Gwen, when you reach a certain point in the game and you have like 3 items, you are still going to be relatively useful, so that's not really the worst in the world. In the enemy team, of course, we do have the Darius, who is basically like basically super duper fed, and then we have Ezreal, who is not too far behind, and now we even have Yasuo, who was 1 in 5 but now has caught up in terms of gold. Has 3 completed items already. Now we have him as well in the mix as pretty fed as well. Of course, we do still have Morgana and Mordekaiser, who are basically the lowest goals in the game respectively, and they have kind of been feeding. So here Dragon is being done by my team. I'm using the shield to help my team. Mordekaiser ults me again. Once again I flash over the wall. And then I come out of the ult. I'm getting chased by Mordekaiser, but I'm gonna just run all the way away. And unfortunately at this point my whole team basically just dies. So this is not a very good fight. So I'm the only one left alive. Yasuo is able to split push. So we basically lost 5v4 and 4 people died 5v4 and Yasuo took the inhib. So this is pretty much the worst case scenario because we had 4 people dead for 2, we lost an inhib, and we're about to lose Baron as well, most likely, considering the whole enemy team is dead. My whole team is dead, sorry. There's no reason for the enemy team not to do Baron. I am pinging that enemy missing on Baron. Like, I know that they're there, but obviously I cannot face check the Baron myself. And Senna ult cannot steal Baron. In case you guys didn't know, Senna ult doesn't actually do any damage to monsters. So you cannot snipe a monster using Senna ult. So if you know those times you saw Senna's trying to ult objectives to steal them, they didn't. That doesn't actually work, right? You can't actually ult objectives. So somehow the enemy team did not do Baron. I'm not sure why are they kind of inting, but somehow they did not do Baron, and instead my team is trying to do Baron. So obviously I'm just gonna help out. You know, I can't stop my team from doing Baron, so I'm just gonna help out. Just DPSing the Baron and healing. Mordekaiser is now coming in, but the Baron is already gone. Mordekaiser is now here. I'm shielding my entire team, and we're just trying to get away with the Baron. Unfortunately, Rammus is probably not getting away, so I'm gonna have to ditch him, and I'm gonna have to run away with the rest of my team. I mean, Rammus ends up dying as expected, and myself, Gwen, and Yone make it out with the Baron buff still intact. Also, we got Ocean Soul, which is actually really useful for me because in this particular match, I am building a lot of like tanky items like that does give me like health and stuff. So getting extra like healing is actually very useful. Elder Dragon is going to be spawning in half a minute's time, and that's going to be the next objective that's going to be contested. Gwen is going in. She does have 3 items now. You can see she is doing massive damage now. Ezreal nearly dies. Unfortunately though, Gwen overextends, gives a kill over to Darius, and ends up being the one who dies instead. Now at this point, my jungle and my ADC is now respawning. I try to snipe Ezreal here. I do hit the snipe, but he doesn't actually die, which is a bit unfortunate. I don't really have enough damage because I have like 2 tank items in my inventory. So that is just not quite enough. So now Elder Dragon is up, and the issue is that we can't really just walk over there because enemy team is really strong right now. They have a 7k gold lead on us. And here Mordekaiser is going in on Samira, gets the kill on Samira. We are trying to kill the Mordekaiser. You can see even with the anti-shield, he is still really tanky. We're trying our best to kill him, but it's not really working. Eventually, during this entire time, obviously, to no one's surprise, the enemy team is doing Baron, doing Elder. And the enemy team does indeed secure the Elder Dragon, to no one's surprise. And now we have a situation where enemy team is Elder, we have no inhibs whatsoever, and we're in a little bit of trouble. So this is where I farm a lot of souls, right? Because like all of these like super minions and stuff all kind of drop souls, like guaranteed souls, right? So here you can see this entire wave gave me like 4 souls, and then I'm going down to this huge wave, where Senna is not Senna, where Gwen is just getting rid of all these minions, and you can see I get another couple of souls, and really this is kind of the point in the game where I start power farming souls. Obviously not kind of intentionally, in the sense that I'm obviously I don't want all these super minions to be in my base, but since they already are, I'm kind of just making the best of it. And yeah, just look at it. Generally, like one wave has like two to the 4 souls, which is really good. Darius now trying to go on to me. I'm going to flash away. Sorry, it's Yasuo, not Darius, and I am able to 1v1 the Yasuo. And here you can see I'm able to shut him down. I'm able to actually heal my and shield my whole team with my Qs and my lockets and stuff, that we actually kill all of them except Mordekaiser and Darius. Darius unfortunately uses the Elder to kill Rammus. Rammus should not be chasing Darius all the way there. And we're looking into a pretty good situation. So here, Morgana and Mordekaiser are still kind of feeding, but it is getting late game, right? Which means that Morgana has like 3 completed items going for the 4th one, and Mordekaiser also has 3 completed items, 2 of which are AP. So my rationale was that eventually they are going to start doing significant damage, and therefore I do need some magic resist. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to build some magic resist before they become too uncontrollable. So here I actually complete my Maw of Mordius, and that gives me the magic resist. And now, if it comes to a point where I need it, I can sell my support item and get an actual item, because of course this rarely happens because games don't really last so long, but if they do, you can actually just sell the support item and buy a normal full item, which is going to be better than your support item. So in this match, is probably what I'm going to do. So now I can see the issue is that Baron is now up, but we have super minion waves coming in on all lanes. So if we either give enemy team Baron somehow, or if we somehow get it stolen, or like enemy team just goes for a back door, we probably lose. So here, fortunately, we're able to, we're not able to actually do the Baron. We don't actually complete the Baron, but you can see Ezreal is going for the back door. Gwen is able to stop him and kill him. I'm going back as well to clear the minions. Thankfully, my team does secure the Baron, while I'm busy protecting our base from Ezreal and the minions to end the game. But Yone ends up dying to Darius. We are able to save the inhib here as well as of course our base, farming a ton of stacks once again. And so now at this point I'm thinking like, what would be good here? Should I get like a Black Cleaver? Should I get like a Molar Minder? Or what should I get? So here I'm thinking anti-heal is probably the way to go, right? I mean, 2 people on my team already have anti-heal, but Rammus, sorry, not actually 3 people on my team have anti-heal, but Gwen doesn't. So actually, maybe Molar Minder was not the way to go. Maybe I should have gone for Black Cleaver. But at that point in time, while I was playing this game, I was thinking that anti-heal probably would be good for me and my team, because like anti-heal is really good to apply and like reduce the healing of Darius, and Yasuo, Ezreal, etc., and Mordekaiser as well. So like can pretty much proc it on the entire team, and it's gonna be helpful. But it turned out to not be as helpful as I kind of thought. So here, I am going to ult to help out my team and slowly make my way there. Gwen picks up a double. You can see that I was pretty much right. At a certain point, Gwen does become useful even though she's feeding. And she's gone from like 1 and 7 to like 7 and 9, which is a huge, comeback. And she has now more gold than myself and Samira. So yeah, not too surprising, I guess. So here I complete Molar Minder. I think this is the first time I've played support in a very, very, very long time that I actually managed to sell my support item and get a completed item. That's kind of nuts. So Elder Dragon is now coming up again in 10 seconds, and I'm trying to secure the area. Unfortunately, my team is not really in position, in a sense that my Yone is on the wrong side of the map. Here I nearly get the kill onto Morgana, who has to kind of run away. I'm now in a 1v1 in the Death Realm with Mordekaiser. So once again, I'm just kind of wasting his time. I mean, he does like no damage to me, so I'm not really even scared of him at all. And in this entire rest of the time, my team has been doing the Elder Dragon, and Mordekaiser is of course their jungler. He's busy dealing with me in the Death Realm, and my team easily secures the Elder Dragon, which now means we can run them down. However, the main issue is the fact that you can see the enemy waves. All the super minions are kind of just blasting in to our base, and here is kind of where we mess up, right? So here we heavy commit onto Darius. Darius gets a kill, gets a reset, gets another kill on me, and then now applies onto Rammus. And yeah, now we kind of messed it up, right? Because we got Elder and we got greedy to kill the Darius, and everybody dies except Yone and Rammus. So we end up from an insanely good situation to a not so good situation, where now we kind of are looking a little bit stupid. And yeah, so anyways, so here Rammus and Yone are not going to defend. Mid lane inhibitor has respawned. Top lane inhibitor is about to respawn in just about 20 seconds. Bot lane inhibitor, of course, will never respawn ever again because it's too late in the game for that. But we really need these inhibs to kind of respawn so that we know we have a little bit of a chance. Ezreal gets assassinated by Yone and his Elder Dragon. So that's good news. And at this point, pretty much everybody is full build. Only I think Rammus and both junglers basically, and Morgana as well. So both junglers and Morgana are not full build. Everybody else kind of is, and you rarely have those kind of games where everyone's full build. And here we still have Elder, or rather Rammus and Yone still have Elder. They're going in. I'm of course using my ulti to kind of shield them, and we end up getting the kill on all of them. Only Yasuo is left alive. We're just gonna get the Baron, and then we're probably gonna push down mid and end the game. So here, you can see that the minions are killing our inhibitor, and there goes our inhibitor once again. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, our inhibitor gets taken out, and here TP comes in from Samira to go ahead and end the game. I'm just clearing the wave in the base, just in case. But here my team is trying to commit to an end. I mean, look at the damage onto the towers. TP comes in from Yone as well. I mean, I could honestly just buy TP as well and TP there, but I'm just taking care of this wave, and my team does end the game. So with that, we do have the pretty amazing, Senna gameplay. I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you so much for watching the video, and goodbye.